Alan Stratton from As Wood Turns. This is my mother's clock. It was an electric corded movement, has a cord to the wall socket. And my uncle made it for her many years ago. I'm not sure when, but he's been dead at least 15 years. My mother has some sentimental attachment to this clock, but it stopped working. I looked round and round, catalog sources, internet, to find a new electric movement that had a cord to the wall, just like the old one. But that movement was so old, they don't make them like that anymore. So I gave up. I couldn't find a battery-operated movement either that would exactly fit this beautiful stone backing that my uncle made. So I said, no, I'm a wood turner, I can fix this. So instead of trying to fit the clock, I made a segmented ring out of walnut. Wanted it to blend nicely with the stone and with the brass on the movement, and made that to take up the space between the movement and the stone. So today, let's fix my mother's clock with a small inserted spacer.
For this insert, I'm using a single 12-segment ring of walnut. It could as easily been a solid piece, but I thought segmented would turn slightly easier since it's all face grain. For the first mount, I cut a circle of 1/4 inch hardboard, just smaller than my ring. This is serving as a spacer to push more of the ring out of the chuck jaws. I start to face off the ring with a small gouge. Whoops, I messed up the entry a couple times, but that is out where I'll have to remove the wood anyway. With it faced off, I'll measure the outer diameter slightly oversized to fit the hole in the stone. Just make sure, if using dividers, to only touch the near leg to the wood. Never both legs, and always wear your face shield. One slip and that would be bad news. Since walnut is so dark, I went over the line with a black felt pen. Now for the outside rabbet. For this, I'm using my square carbide cutter. A square scraper would work as well. I'm removing between 1/16 and 1/8 inch of wood per pass until I get close. With the segmented wood being all face grain, the wood peels off very nicely. Once I get close, I'll test it repeatedly against the hole in the clock rock. This is not precision work. I plan to use a little hot melt glue to anchor the wood to the rock. With the outside rabbet done, I'll flip it over. But as usual, I'll have to change the chuck jaws as I'm now in a different size range. I'll first do a little facing off. This is mostly just for fun, and a lot of this wood will be removed, but a smooth surface is easier to mark off. This time I'll measure for the interface between the clock movement and my insert, and start removing wood with my square carbide. This does not work as well for inside cuts, as the wood often hits the bar holding the carbide. To compensate, I have to set the tool rest higher than normal. I'll remove the wood in small bites until I get near my target size, then test with the clock movement. Now for the outside. Since the wood is so close to the chuck jaws, I'm not comfortable cutting from the face to the back. I don't want to hit the jaws. So I switch the tool rest around to cut from the side, and this works fine. With the outer diameter completed, I decided to reduce the thickness a little bit more. Finally, I cut just a little chamfer on the outside of the ring. The chamfer would best match the clock face. With the face grain and the carbide cutters, I decided not to do any sanding at all. The surface looked great to me. Any sanding would detract from the sharp edges I had, so I went directly on to applying a friction polish. I did have to sand the inner corner just a little bit as it snagged my paper towel, but that corner would be hidden by the clock face anyway. Then a little hot melt glue anchors the walnut insert to the inside of the hole in the rock. The clock movement is a press fit into my ring. it has a rubber spacer that holds it with a firm friction fit. The walnut blends nicely between the movement and the stone. Most people will not notice it at all, but the important thing is that my mother will have her clock back working to place on her mantle. My only problem now is getting this heavy clock back to her home. Once back home, my mother will be happy to have her clock back. Please click the like button on this video and subscribe to both my website and YouTube channel. Always wear your face shield. You're not invincible. Until next time, this is Alan Stratton from As Wood Turns.